Ho, ho, ho. Merry Oh the Anthem Christmas. This is Corey.
Bah, humbug. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. Welcome to episode 246.
Turn the Christmas tree on.
Welcome to 246 of the podcast, broadcasting from the hashtag OTA LA Studios, high above the 110 freeway in downtown Los Angeles, California. Thank you for joining us, and bah, humbug to you all.
Yes, thank you for watching the show live on Facebook. Thank you for downloading on your podcatcher of choice. Thank you for doing everything that you do in this Christmas spirit of being nice to us. We appreciate it.
And of course, you can find more Oh the Anthem at Oh the Anthem on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you're following there. And of course, Facebook.com/Oh the Anthem, where you're hopefully watching a live stream of this recorded early. If not, then you can go there and make sure that you turn on notifications, like the page first, turn on notifications so you see when we're live, and you can join us for the live taping of the show.
Yeah.
There we go.
Trying to get back to it.
There we go. Too many menus.
It's so weird we decided to wear the same exact outfit 2 weeks in a row.
Well, I wear the same outfit every week. I don't know about you. Although, I mean, last week, if I remember correctly, you checked the previous 2 weeks, realized that you were wearing the same shirt.
Yeah, and decided I was like, I'll just change my shirt. I mean, like, I only wear like a handful of different shirts on the podcast.
Yes.
But I do like to make it look like I don't wear the same clothes every single day.
That's if you do wear the same thing every single day, a good way to hide it is by always wearing the same thing.
Yeah.
Black shirts all the time.
Just having multiples.
Yeah. So I have like 9 black shirts. If they're all dirty and I wear a dirty one, nobody knows because it's just a black shirt.
You know, it would be great. Because I imagine like this would come up at work more often than anywhere else. Just have a backup outfit like in the car one day.
Yeah.
The same exact outfit you're wearing. Just like the exact replica of it. And then like spill something on yourself like halfway through and just be like, oh, I got to go to the car and change. And then go out, grab the outfit, put it on, and then you're wearing the same exact thing, only without the stain now, and you're just like, I feel so much better. People will be like, does he only own those clothes?
Yep, that's all I have. That's all I have. But yeah, that's generally how I operate. I just wear the same shirt all the time. And that's exactly what would happen, by the way, because I do have an extra pair of clothes in the car.
Yeah.
And it's black pants and a black t-shirt. So I'd walk out wearing black pants and a black t-shirt, come back wearing black pants and a black t-shirt. And if you hear a monster in the background, it's a special guest on the show this Christmas. Krampus. Krampus has joined us.
Krampus is rolling around on the couch.
Yes.
Trying to get comfortable.
So we are pre-recording this episode because when this episode drops on December the 25th, Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So happy Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
I prefer the British greeting. Happy Christmas, everyone. Been watching a lot of Harry Potter recently. That's Corey making faces at Krampus on the couch. So we are dropping this episode on
just
the 25th.
trying to see if I could get her worked up.
So you are hearing this, if you're with us live, you're hearing this early, but we will be traveling back to the East Coast, out from the paradise that is Southern California to the frozen tundra that is the land of Mary.
To quote Johnny Drama, I can't go back. I'm so used to the weather here. Krampus
is now between our legs. So obviously, this is episode 246. That's 246 consecutive weeks of brand new content, including this week, even though we have to record early.
Yeah. And next week, we will have a 247th consecutive week.
Right.
But it will be a couple days later. So if you didn't hear last week's episode, we announced that the first episode of the 2019 season of the Oh the Anthem podcast is going to be coming up on Thursday instead of Tuesday. So
recording live on Wednesday night, though. So you can join us on Wednesday night if you want to be there for the live recording right here on Facebook.com/Oh the Anthem.
Prepare your butts.
Yes. So Corey, in his infinite wisdom, started planning for his trip home way back in October? November?
No, it was end of November.
Okay, so not so
early. It was
early
like
then.
right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking around beforehand, but I was doing the like month of like, oh, these airline prices are ridiculous.
Yes.
Watching them go up and just be like, they're getting more and more ridiculous. And at a certain point, I was just like, I can't do this.
How much should it cost me to fly across the country? 2 bits? That's too much.
That's 1 bit too many.
So, one of the things that is really annoying to me about traveling back east is one, the travel time, because it's 5 hours east and then 3 hours of time difference.
Yeah. So you lose 3 of those hours on your way back.
Right. Which is
So
actually,
it's like a 2-hour flight in terms of like time elapsed.
and I actually like that.
Yeah.
Because when you fly back in on an afternoon, it actually lets you kind of get reacclimated and get tired.
Yeah.
So that you can, or if you sleep on the plane, like you have more of your day. But flying out there is long. It's 8 hours because you get the 5-hour flight plus the 3 hours of time lost.
Right.
And therefore, we generally choose to do a overnight flight.
Yeah. It's the only way to fly west to east, I feel, is the red eye.
I don't know people. I don't know why people are doing that. There are people at my work who are from New York, and they're like, "Oh yeah, my flight leaves at 11." I'm like, that is a ridiculously stupid flight.
You're just going to get there way late at night, and then you're not going to want to like do anything because
It's
you're all
going to feel
tired
like
from the flight.
mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
It's going to be deep in the evening for everybody who's there. So one of the things, though, that we've come to realize in our travels across the country is that another inconvenient part of this is making our friends and family drive out to Northern Virginia to pick us up at an airport.
I thoroughly dislike the fact that my choices in flying home are to BWI or LAX or BWI or Dulles. And then more often than not, I end up doing Dulles just because it's so much more expensive to find a BWI.
Yeah.
And it's like the same. There's so many airports in the LA area.
Right.
There's LAX, there's Burbank, there's Long Beach, there's Ontario, there's
Orange County.
There's one in Santa Monica too, or something like that. Even though I think that's a smaller.
Yeah, it's a small airport.
Yeah.
Technically,
like
you went from San Diego last year.
Yeah.
So San Diego's.
That was a really dumb idea.
Las Vegas, we've flown home. I've flown home from Las Vegas.
I drove you to Vegas, and then I spent the time in Vegas, and then you flew home from there.
Yes.
And that saved you a lot of money.
Yes, because I also got a flight from there to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
From Vegas to Philadelphia, which was a much cheaper flight.
I just wish that like there was a way of like exactly figuring out how much it was going to cost to fly out of some particular, because like it's not even worth looking at any airport other than LAX for flying out.
Really?
Because
Yeah.
like Long Beach, while they do have flights to like BWI, it's like once a day, and they know that the price on that is so ridiculous. And I would love to fly out of Burbank. I just can't. It never works out.
I hear security at Burbank is a lot easier as well.
Well, it's a significantly smaller airport.
Yeah.
And especially with like, Christmas time and stuff like that, you would think that you would prefer the smaller airport because you would have there would be less people like attacking it.
Yeah.
As LAX is just under siege throughout the entire holiday season.
I mean, I don't know, how does United or American, whoever flies out of Burbank, not say, you know what, Christmas, we need a 6:30, 6:45, 7 o'clock, just to various places on the East Coast. Philadelphia, Boston,
New York,
Baltimore, New York,
yeah,
DC, just all up and down. Let's just fly somewhere out of here every half hour.
Well, I mean, it's just generally speaking, I think that it's commonly referred to as like the Excella.
Yeah, the Excella corridor.
Excella corridor of everything from DC to Boston, essentially.
Yeah.
And I feel like any airline should be thinking about like, how do I fly to these places? Because those are the places that most people are trying to go to. Mm-hmm. Baltimore, Washington, Philadelphia, New York, Boston. If I could fly to any one of those 4, I could pretty much get anywhere in the Northeast.
Yes. And in fact, if Acela was a real choice, I would fly into Boston. I would like to take a cross-country flight that arrives 4 a.m. in Boston and then jump on a 2-hour Acela train that gets me in Baltimore at a reasonable hour to be picked up by my friends and family.
I hate the fucking Excella train, though.
Oh, it's well documented. I think it's episode 6 where we had a great debate about the trains and the train system. So go back in the archives. You'll see that.
Way back when in the day when we were both at Hofstra.
Yes.
Rob had a car, so he would drive back and forth between Maryland and New York whenever, Christmas or Thanksgiving or any reason that he would be going home.
Freshman year, the first time I went home was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Which was really good on my part. My last year, I don't think I went home. I went home for Christmas. That was it.
Yeah.
Joyce and I did Thanksgiving up at the dorm. So
yeah.
Anyway, so not a lot of driving, but yes, I did drive occasionally.
But I would always have to take the train because I didn't have a car up in New York. So I would end up spending 4 times as much as Rob would. And take just as long. And I'd have to go into New York where I'd have to like break a $50 bill and get 49 Sacagaweas to
You actually did that though. I remember you putting the 20 in the machine and getting 19 Sacagaweas.
Oh, no lie. I went home for Easter, and my grandparents had given me money for Easter. So they had given me like, I think $200 or something like that. It was like 100 and 250s, right? So I get up to the thing where I'm buying the ticket on the LARR to go back, and I say, like, all right.
Well, I got to 50.
I tried to do my card, and it didn't work. And I was just like, all right, I'm going to put this in there and just hope for the best. So I just put the 50 in, and then like my $7 train ride kicked back 43 Sacagaweas. And I literally put them in my shirt, like held them all in my shirt and walked up to the physical ticket taker, like the person who had a huge line. I was like standing in line with my shirt hanging up like this, like, and I just dumped them all down into the like the little scooped area.
I would like money for this, please.
It's like, I would like real money for these Sacagaweas, please. I do not have time for. I can't be walking around the Hempstead LARR station with like the of 49.
You'd have a gold pouch that you could just toss those into.
And then where would I ever use them again?
They work everywhere.
Yeah, I know, but it's
currency.
Yeah, but it's still like. I used to be offended when people used to hand me Sacagaweas, like, and it's not because like I don't give a shit about your dollar coin or something like that, but like, so when I had a cash register and someone would hand me a Sacagawea, I would just be like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? I don't have a place in my cash register drawer for your damn Sacagawea. Now I'm just throwing them in with quarters, and now I got to watch out to make sure I don't give somebody $1 in change rather than 25 cents in change. This whole process is stupid.
But, you know, coins for the singles are way better for every industry except for strippers.
just hurling Sacagaweas up on the stage.
It's 43
It's
Sacagaweas.
the same thing as money. It's the same thing as real
It's
money.
currency. Come on, stop complaining.
Just drop one Sacagawea into a G-string.
Don't just falls out to the floor. Hey.
It cracks the stage.
But yes, Sacagaweas are real money.
Technically.
Oh, God, I get myself together. So, yeah, so anyway, I think your message there was you had to take the train and it sucked.
It always sucks.
But I think it's something that has potential.
I would have preferred to fly, but it was like one of those things like the train cost $120 round trip and the flight cost $150 round trip. So there was no way we're spending the extra $30. This cannot be found in the budget to fly you home. I'm sorry, you're going to have to spend an hour going to New York City and then 5 hours on the train and then another half hour to get back home afterwards.
Because you could take the light rail out too to Timonium and we'll grab you right there. So
yeah, we'll meet you in Timonium.
Yeah. Because the spur line. So you come into Union Station in Baltimore.
This is why my thing is all payback now. Where it's just like, why are you flying into Dulles? I don't know. Maybe because I never got to fly into BWI when I was living in New York.
Could have made it easier on me, guys. Now you
have to go an extra hour out of your way.
Although, aren't you punishing Rachel's family too?
A little bit. But
oh man.
I also don't get that. I mean, like, I understand that driving into Washington can be annoying at like certain times, like when it's rush hour,
yes,
morning or night. That's really annoying. But like, I'm getting into DC at like 5 a.m. So we're like getting in there before the rush hour really starts.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not like, you know, if I would have gone to a BWI flight, I would have had to get a stop somewhere along the way because none when I looked it up, none of the flights had direct flights for a reasonable sum. And I don't know. I would never, if I was living in Baltimore and somebody said, hey, come pick me up at Dulles, I wouldn't even think twice about it. I might say, why Dulles? And then they'd say it was ridiculously cheaper. And then I just end up going there anyway, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I just don't get, like, I drive to LAX for people all the goddamn time, you know? And that's way worse than driving to Dulles.
True. Now, I was going to say, I think people misunderstand
in less space.
The distance to Dulles seems like a lot, but it takes longer to drive less space or less distance-wise to LAX.
It's like 16 miles away.
And it takes
from
forever.
here to LAX. And it's probably like 40 from my house to Dulles. And it takes way longer to drive to LAX than it does to drive to Dulles. I mean, obviously, unless you're doing it like, you know, 5:30 in the afternoon, the evening, or something like that.
So I was trying to do a little math. Help me out with this. So the country is about 2,700 miles across, right? We're about 2,700 miles from New York, right? And we divide that by 400 miles per hour. That leaves us with 6.75 hours. Let's bump that up to 500 miles an hour. 5.4 hours. And if we bump that up to 8, which is the theoretical max for the Hyperloop, 800 miles an hour.
Yeah.
3.3 hours.
Yeah.
If it was available, would you take an Acela train from Los Angeles to Baltimore and or New York if it took you approximately the same time? A Acela train actually doesn't get up to 500 miles an hour, but that model is capable of 500 miles an hour. And the one that's going to be connecting San Francisco and LA is going to be 500 miles an hour.
Yeah, and that's going to get you to San Francisco in like an hour and a half or something like that, which would be lovely.
Ridiculous. That's like a commute in Los Angeles for some people. So, yes. Would you take a train cross country if it hit 500 miles an hour and just blasted its way across the country?
Maybe.
Okay.
There's just way too many other intangible or too many other things to worry about there.
Like what?
Well, like the cost, for one.
Well, okay, so let's say this. What is worthwhile to you? The train at 6 hours? Does it have to be cheaper than the flight?
Yes.
Why? Just because it's a little longer?
Yeah.
But what if you didn't have to worry about security or getting to LAX? What if it went out of Union Station?
I mean, that would all be factored in.
Okay.
I would accept it being a little bit more expensive. It was a little bit more convenient. But I mean, there's only so much give or take that like
okay.
Union Station is as close as the train could leave from.
Theoretically, yeah.
Yeah. So if it was leaving out of Union Station and as opposed to LAX and it took the same amount of time, and it costs the same amount, I would say like it's well worth it to still go to Union Station instead.
And it brings you into Union Station in Baltimore versus somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So follow-up question. How much would you pay for a Hyperloop where you get on at your local station? It'd probably be down here at First and Fremont, maybe at Temple and Broadway, maybe somewhere a little further away.
Okay.
And you literally just go down with your bags and you get into your little Acela cart. And 3.5 hours later, you are getting pitched out into your parents' local neighborhood or Rachel's mom's local neighborhood Hyperloop station.
Right.
How much would you pay for that convenience?
I would consider, I guess, a 25% bump.
What?
On the airline flight.
You are out of your mind.
What are you talking about?
How much did you pay for your flight one way? Or let's say round trip. Where are you at approximately?
I think it was like $550
per ticket.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, if you're talking about it costing an extra $150 to drop me off, pick me up essentially in the neighborhood and drop me off in the neighborhood. Yeah. And it takes the same amount of time.
No, it takes 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
So it takes less time, but still, I mean, 25% increase on whatever the airfare is would be an acceptable amount. Like that's pretty much. You have to start talking about like completely unrealistic things to like. You'd have to be talking about like teleporting me and
to get faster than that.
For me to acknowledge that there would be a reason to go with this as opposed to the flight.
Well, how about not having to deal with LAX or Dulles or the rides there to or from?
I mean, that's all lovely, but again, like
I always thought you were an early adopter, but this is making me think maybe you're not. Maybe you're not an early adopter. Maybe you're an old curmudgeon who's attached to the old ways of transportation.
Yeah, like airplanes.
Yeah.
I'm old fashioned. I prefer airplanes to trains.
Yes. Well, no, Hyperloop's not a train. All right. It's a maglev sled.
Yeah. Well,
and it would have an individual bubble. Which
How about this? Why don't we just get rid of the TSA?
I mean, that's also an alternative.
That's another alternative to this whole problem.
Yeah.
We just get rid of the TSA. We could all tell everyone across the country to chill the fuck out a little bit.
Or we can acknowledge that the TSA has existed since 2001 and has caught exactly 0 terrorists since 2001.
And does nothing except for annoy people.
Yes. Literally annoys all of us. And there have been events that have happened since 2001. The shoe bomber guy caught by a person on his flight.
Yeah.
Not by TSA. So got through the TSA. caught by somebody on the flight. So,
which is why we have to take off our shoes now.
Yes.
One guy tried to blow up a plane with his shoes.
Everybody take your shoes off.
Everyone take your shoes off.
Well, they don't want to look incompetent, so
They already look incompetent.
yes, yeah. And I think that half of it is half the misery of going to the airport now is the things we've done to ourselves. It's the flights. It's the agreeing to have a chair that is less than 6 inches from the front of my chair, so I can't sit comfortably.
How about this? How about the number one thing that they could do to improve airport transit?
Yes.
For me, is by just giving me some sort of option of getting to LAX without driving.
Hey, that's true too. Yeah.
Because
You can take the flyaway bus.
Yes, but that's still driving into LAX. So there's still I have to sit around in the 45 minutes of the bus going around the loop at LAX to get to my Terminal 7.
Well, just drop me off at 1. I'll walk across. I'll just walk. It's fine.
I'll find a way. I'll go through the parking lots. I don't care. I'm not doing this. There's supposed to be a metro at some point that'll go down to the.
Well, we know it has to be here before the Olympic Games because we're only getting it because LA got the Olympic Games again, and they're like, all right, well, we gotta make sure you can actually get to the airport from the train.
Yeah.
Last time we had the Olympics, we were a car country, but we've come to our senses, and now we're gonna do public transportation. So, got to get that trained to LAX.
It's going to be so interesting when the Olympics come because apparently the last time in '84 when the Olympics were here, like people just stopped driving. Like I think everyone just to a man basically said to themselves, this whole fucking 2 weeks is going to be ridiculous.
Yep.
I'm not driving anywhere.
I'm taking the train.
I'm just staying where I am.
I think though
I'm sheltering in place.
We are in a different economy where people won't drive themselves, but every car on the road may have a Lyft or Uber sticker on it.
Yeah, maybe.
The only people who are on the roads are professional drivers. Professional drivers like the one that hit me with his car last week as you're listening to this. So, but I forgot that detail in the story. Pretty sure he had somebody in the backseat. So I'm pretty sure he was an Uber or Lyft driver. And here's an interesting question for you, Corey. Not to flash back to that story, but what would you do if you were riding in a Lyft and your driver hit someone and then sped away when that person got up and got out of the way? What would you do?
You know what the problem is I would probably do the same sort of calculus with the Uber driver that you do with the police.
Okay.
Because last week when you were telling the story, you were saying he was ethnic of some kind.
Yes.
So the likelihood that if the police came to him, there would be a higher likelihood that he would get shot. I don't want to have that on my conscience of them going to try and find this guy and shooting him by mistake or something like that.
By mistake.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean.
By mistake.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want to end with this guy's death because of something that I did.
Yeah.
And then I would do the same sort of calculus as like a passenger in his Uber, though.
Okay.
Where I would just be like, listen, he hit a guy, and there's got to be a punishment involved with that.
Right.
But I'm not trying to give him 3 stars because I don't want him to not be able to make a living as an Uber driver.
I know, right? Like, how much do I punish this guy? He just hit a guy, but if I give him 3 stars, there's a chance he can't drive anymore. And this is clearly the way he makes money. So,
I mean, people need to know that he's not the best driver.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I need to be telling, and I don't even need to be snitching on Uber.
I'm going to give him a 5, but in the notes, I'm going to say, great driver, hit a guy though.
I'm gonna give you 4 stars. I'm gonna tell you why I'm not gonna tip you, and I need you to understand why.
Listen, I just want you to know I tip every ride, but you hit a dude a couple miles back, and I don't find that acceptable.
I'm not gonna be a jerk about it. I'm not gonna give you 1 star.
Yes,
I'm just not gonna tip you. Never hit somebody again.
Please don't hit somebody. Please drive carefully. Also, one detail I left out of last week's story.
I'm gonna call Uber and complain that I should get like 5 minutes of my ride like deducted. Like figure out the calculus of how long you stood waiting for the guy to crawl out of the road. Like, because I don't think it's fair that I pay for that.
One detail I left out of last week's story. I was also wearing the LA uniform, if you will, which is
black on black.
Black shirt, or dark blue jeans, black shirt, black shoes, black jacket. With a hood and a black book bag. So here's my question: how to blame am I for that?
How at fault are you for this accident?
How far should I consider myself for that bit of accident?
You know, it's funny you say it out loud like that, but at the same time, I can flash back to you as a lawyer, like talking to me about your cases and stuff like that, and be like, this motherfucker tried to make the argument that my black sweatshirt and my black backpack and my dark jeans and my black shoes is the reason that I got hit and that I shouldn't be entitled to any kind of compensation for this accident. And I think that is a shocking new low of the judicial system. Like,
yeah, probably. So, but also the city, because that light that's on that corner is out.
Yeah.
So
sue the city. That's great.
Could bring the city in.
Yeah.
Also the fire department, ironically,
have it on their grounds.
I was going to say, technically I was on their property. So, I mean, there's a lot.
By the way, do you know, have you ever noticed the sign that's there on that corner?
No. Wait.
It's been officially designated Les Fisher Square.
Oh, you mean at First and Fremont?
Yeah.
Yes.
Has been officially designated Les Fisher Square. I did a thorough Google search. I have no the fuck idea who Les Fisher is. I haven't been able to find it anywhere.
It's probably some local person though. Some guy.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, I feel like if you're gonna put up a sign to say like Les Fisher Square, I should at least be able to find something about what you did. You know?
What were your search terms?
Like if I Google,
should we analyze this?
Well, I did, like Les Fisher and then Les Fisher Los Angeles and Les Fisher Square. And I even looked on like the website to see if they have a listing as to why they name certain things like after
who is
people.
it named after?
Yeah. And nothing. I couldn't find anything. But I mean, like if you Google my grandfather, for instance, then there's articles that show up about the things that he did. And it's not like he's like this huge transformative figure in the history of the world. But, he at least had enough of a presence where you could Google him and find
he made
something.
The Sun, so there's that. Yeah.
He was in the Sun paper at one point. So therefore,
the paper of record.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if Les Fisher did something good enough to deserve to have his own square within Los Angeles, then I should be able to figure out what he did. Or who he is.
I'd like to know who he is just so I can contact him.
If I find out that he's just some guy who gave Garcetti a lot of money, I'm going to be so fucking pissed.
I mean, that's also a possibility. I, though, want to find out who he is so I can complain to him that the light at his intersection is the worst goddamn light in Los Angeles. That Fremont light is like 15 seconds long.
Yeah.
And you have to wait like 5 minutes to get it. I am not a fan. Not a fan.
I have given up on making left-hand turns at Temple. For the same reason.
Yes, yeah. No.
Because
make a right there, make a right there.
I make
first.
the right, go all the way down to First, make the right, and then make a right on Beaudry, rather than sit at the light at Temple and Fremont because it's preposterous. It's
also ridiculously. I do think though that the triggers are not working on one of the sides. Probably the side on Da Vinci.
Okay, so something I've never mentioned before, but
yes.
I enjoy this so much. They just added they redid the bike lane on Spring Street in Los Angeles. This may sound like it's not interesting to anyone who doesn't live in downtown Los Angeles, but hang with me for a second because there's
at a cost of $30 million.
There's something fun about this. You can see in the road where they put the sensors.
Okay.
So you can see like the little cutouts in the pavement where the sensors are.
Yeah.
So I know that if I hit those sensors before the light changes, then the bike lane light will change.
Okay.
So there's so many times where I've been driving or riding down Spring Street and I see like the yellow light coming up on the cross street.
Right.
And then I'm like pedaling like a maniac just to run over the things so that I get the bike crossing light.
Right. Otherwise you have to sit for
But
two.
it's like a checkpoint. It's like a real life checkpoint in like a racing game.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, you got to get through this, this thing of balloons or else you don't continue on with the race.
Yes.
I'm like frantically pedaling to get to the checkpoint. And then when I get it, I'm like, yes!
I want everyone to visualize
Success.
that the way that this is shot from Corey's POV, and he's like hustling, get it. And now we cut to the wide angle where he's barely moving.
2 miles an hour.
Just comes up to the light and then frantically like, yes! And there's like people looking around him and somebody doesn't cross the street because they think he's a crazy person on a bike. End scene. Okay, that's... So we are both in Maryland as things are happening right now. As you're
don't let the
this.
background fool you.
Yes, recorded in LA while we're in Maryland. But so what you're going to be in Maryland until the 30th, is that right?
Correct.
So if anybody wants to reach out to you at this point, they have 5 days.
Yeah, if you're listening as of the day of release, then you have 5 days in which to find me and spend some time with me if you want.
Yes. And I am leaving on the 28th. So you have 3 days to reach me.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say is we complained about this last year, but I'm getting a lot of people hitting me up and saying, hey, let's hang out. Let's do something. Great. But I want you to understand that per last year's agreement between Corey and I, nothing will be penciled in. There will be no notations about your interest to hang out.
Yeah.
If you contact me while I am in Maryland, then yes, we are down. But last year there was a lot of plans made while we were in LA that never came to fruition while we were in Maryland. Mm-hmm. And you can't be getting on a calendar and then telling me like, oh, well, I know I said that, but now I'm on the work schedule. Man, fuck your work schedule. Take a day off. I'm here 1 week a year.
Yeah.
But for those of you who might know, you could probably find me at the Market Street Pub.
Just show up anytime. I'm sure he's there.
I might be there.
But
any night
Maxon on his left.
Well, no. So the best thing about Maxon, again, looking forward to seeing Maxon. My nephew is 1 now, officially 1, and birthday on November 13th. And he's in a 2T, so
Big
growing
boy.
growing big on the G Clan. And I'm just looking forward to spending the week with him. But the great thing about him being 1 is that he'll be asleep by like 8 p.m. And then I could be at the bar by 9, and we're good.
Yeah.
So it'll be fine. Come and find me. Also, we're probably 2 days out from the posse meeting up on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Hopefully everybody made it out for that. It was a good time. Good time was had by all.
Yeah. Joined everybody except for Burns.
Oh, wait. Yeah, because they're not in. Wait,
No,
they're not
are.
in? Are they in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was just picking out some random person.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It was a great time, except for that Rob Clark guy.
Yeah. Oh, and
Embarrassing himself in front of everybody.
He's a father now. I don't think we're allowed to do that. You can't put that juju out in the universe. Twice over. Father twice over. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so come find us. If you don't, we'll be back on the better coast in no time.
You know, one place that I will spend a little bit of time before it changes forever
Where's that?
is Oh, are you ready to?
Oh, I'm ready.
On the Baltimore corner?
Ooh, where you get the straight dope?
Yes, indeed. Specifically, a block and a half away from that particular corner.
Wait, let's go back to this. Where is this, by the way? For anyone who may be interested, where is this?
It's Park and like Park and Center, somewhere like that.
West Baltimore?
I mean, technically, it's west of Charles Street.
West of Charles Street, yes.
It is technically West Baltimore. I could figure out that exact spot in seconds if you give me a.
Yeah. So, but just several blocks from there, some developments have happened. You know that there is parts of Baltimore that are close to our heart. The Inner Harbor, Fells Point, Camden Complex, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, are you going to go see the Ravens play while you're at home?
No, because we won't actually be there when they're playing at all.
Oh, that's right. They'll be playing in LA while we're in Baltimore.
Well, no, they'll be playing in LA when we're home.
Yes.
Or they'll be playing in LA after we leave.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
We're getting there on Saturday.
Yeah.
They'll be playing in LA that Sunday.
No, they'll be playing on Saturday.
Oh, on Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Saturday game. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
And then there's a Browns game that happens on the Sunday that we leave. So,
Yes. Yeah. What? So.
Yeah. By the way, it is Park Avenue between the major cross streets are Franklin and Mulberry. If you ever wanted to see that for yourself, it's specifically right near Wilson Alley, in Holes Alley, and Library Court. So that little alleyway right there, to the right side of the image, would be Wilson Alley.
And of course, Franklin and Mulberry are the two major cross streets.
Yeah.
That come across Baltimore. East.
But speaking of that area, it's sad to report that the Mayfair Theater, my favorite building in the entirety of Baltimore City, has finally been sold for $400,000 to the Zalco Realty Company. So my opportunity to get super famous and rich and buy it is no more.
And turn it into a theater.
Turn it into a theater.
Yeah.
I will have to find a new space to do that, I guess.
Have you ever posted your your plans for revamping it?
No, because I always like it was one of those projects that like I was just doing for fun.
Yeah.
But I thought I would do it whenever it was done. But it's
Yeah.
never done.
No,
it's,
of course
it's one
not.
of those projects that always like I'm just like, well, I haven't gotten to the office spaces yet. Like
Maybe it's
I haven't
time,
designed
though.
the kitchen area. Yeah.
Maybe it's time.
But
Share it with all your fans at CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com.
it's going to be turned into apartments and restaurant and a general mixed use facility.
Theoretically.
Yeah. And
Theoretically.
hypothetically, they're keeping the facade as well. I don't know how they're going to work it into what they're planning, but I am going to try and see if I can wrangle an interview with somebody at Zalco.
Yeah.
While I'm home. So
Which, by the way, doesn't sound like a real company. That sounds like it's a shell company front for something. So,
it's like a Trump property or something.
yeah. But it's sad day.
Yeah.
They bought up that entire block that had the theater, but also the apartment complex next door. Right? What's it called?
Well, the Congress they already own.
The Congress, yes.
Yeah. Zalco already owns that building.
And then there's they basically get the whole block there, right? So
Yeah, I mean, going back on the history of that particular block, there was two theaters. There was the Mayfair and there was the Stanley. The Stanley was the biggest theater in all of Baltimore when it was up. And it hasn't. There's not a chance that anyone would come anywhere close to beating that. It was like a 5,000 seat.
Yes.
One theater.
It was
one screen theater.
It started out as a vaudeville theater, like a performance theater.
Yeah.
And then became a movie theater.
Right. And then the Mayfair was right next to it, which was still a tremendously huge theater, but also smaller than the Stanley. And then on the corner there was a hotel, and that also became like a club at one point. The like Down and Under or Down and Out or something like that. I don't remember. But it used to be where traveling artists would stay. So like Billie Holiday,
Yes.
would stay there, and other jazz singers and stuff like that would go through that the New Academy Hotel, as it was called. But since they tore it all down, there's not really much to speak of in that area, except for the Congress Hotel, which is still a beautiful, old-fashioned apartment complex.
And that gets set on fire occasionally by the homeless people who live inside of it.
That was the construction people who set it on fire.
Oh, that's right.
When they were tearing down the New Academy. Which is the first time I think we talked about the Mayfair. And then we talked about it like a week and a half later when I went on like some epic rampage. I'm gonna have to put that one in the show notes. It was like a good old flashback to the good old days of the Mayfair where I was screaming at SRB.
I mean, that's got to be like a first few dozen episode, maybe.
That might be the week where I came up with Do Your Job or Quit.
Oh yeah, we're 4 years away from that now.
Yeah.
So
But I see pictures of. I still follow her on Twitter, so every once in a while I see a picture of her at like some events and stuff like that. She's just like, I'm so happy to be at the United Federation of Steelworkers Union meeting or something like that. And I just like always like for whatever reason like I just have like this id inside of me that just wants to be like, you fucking ruined everything. How dare you be out there smiling?
you don't deserve happiness.
You don't deserve to be happy. 300 people a year died under your watch.
And then you just get blocked. You probably are already blocked. We posted things that said "Do your job or quit."
She mutes me.
Yeah, we're definitely muted if nothing else.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so you may though still have a chance to get famous enough to be bi-coastal.
Yeah, and stay.
Have an apartment.
Yeah,
there.
have an apartment there. That would be a winner for it. Because honestly, I was thinking about it some time ago. Sometimes I like to go on to the realty websites and like look around. Sometimes it's I don't have a price limit, and I'm gonna see the most expensive places that a city has to offer.
Yes.
In LA, that's quite outrageous. In Baltimore, surprisingly
reasonable.
affordable.
Yeah. Reasonable considering.
I mean, I'm looking at the most expensive places in Baltimore, and they're the cost of a reasonable place in Los Angeles. And I'm just
you could either get a 2-bedroom rancher or a 5-bedroom McMansion in Baltimore.
I could stay at the. I looked it up once, like the new Circa apartment complexes, the ones right by Staples Center.
Okay, yeah.
The penthouse there costs like 4 times what it costs to get a 5-bedroom penthouse at the Park Avenue or the shit. What's the thing on Key Highway? Oh goddamn! Why can't I think of it? Jim's parents live there.
No idea.
It's like a fancy property.
Key Highway, meaning further out from the Royal Farms or city side from the Royal Farms?
Towards the Royal Farms, closer to the Museum of Industry.
Right. Oh, right across from there on the water.
Yeah, hold on.
The tall one. I delivered things there
No,
before.
hold on.
I
Where
Ubered
is
there.
it?
Yes.
Ritz-Carlton. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah,
Ritz-Carlton.
it's right there, like on the corner.
Yes.
Right where Key Highway turns. Yeah.
Makes that right at the Museum of
Yeah,
Industry.
that's like the most expensive penthouse in all of Baltimore. It's like $1.2 million or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I remember like looking at the Circa and like their most expensive, which was, a quarter of the size, was like, $5 million. I'm just like,
That's LA for you.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
But so maybe you'll get to live there someday
Yeah.
if that project ever comes to fruition.
But one of the things getting back to that, one of the things that I had said to myself, like, if I do move back or do have a second place there, I have thought about another Zalco property as a place I would like to be, which is the one right there on Portland Street, right by Quigley's Half Irish.
Yes, the new one.
The new one, yeah. I always saw that and was like, oh, that's a nice location. I'd like to, I wouldn't mind that spot. Stumbling distance from Pickles.
Yeah. And the stadium.
Yeah.
And Quigley's Half Irish too. So everything around there. And that little store that we used to go to is right on the next block. Mm-hmm. If it still exists.
Originally Mini Mart.
Yes, the originally Mini Mart. That was it. Yes.
And the
Sunoco.
where we get all our food.
ODV 28 again. That was.
Oh, food deserts.
Oh, wow. We were in a food desert because there was nothing around.
You'd have to go all the way to
Charles, to the
Charles Center. Yeah.
Or 7-Eleven. But
That 7-Eleven wasn't there though.
oh, that's right.
That wasn't until we have a.
There's always discussion about
I guarantee.
that. Yeah.
I guarantee you that whenever we decide to move out of this apartment, they're going to put a 7-Eleven or something like that directly in the
building.
in the building.
Yeah, of
Like,
course. Of course.
it's because when we moved out of Richard's Delight, they opened up a 7-Eleven across MLK.
Yeah.
Like 2 months later, and then after we're
Charles-
asked politely to leave the park, Charles.
When we agreed to leave, when we came to terms and left prior to the end of the lease.
They opened two 7-Elevens,
Yeah.
each like within a stone's throw of one another, and
Yeah.
it upset the fuck out of us because we
Yeah.
still walked on Baltimore Street at like 2 a.m.
Through a not nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
A lot of not nice neighborhood to get to.
It was either Baltimore Street or Howard Street. It was like either one was
Not
fraught
a
with
choice.
peril.
Yeah. We still survived. Yeah. Anyway, so good for you, Baltimore, and maybe you'll make something of it. Or, hey, here's a thought. That company falls through, goes bankrupt. Now that building's available for pennies.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
they're only buying you enough time to get to the place where you can buy it.
That would, you know what? Maybe I should pull a California.
Okay.
On this.
Sue 'em.
Well, just come up with like 5 different environmental agencies.
Yes.
And just sue them. Like Marylanders for firm ground. For no ground pollution.
Yes.
And just sue them and just be like, I don't think your plans factor this in. And
This took us back down there.
Spend 2 years just going through the legal system.
Well,
And by
first,
then-
start out with the Historical Society, because I guarantee you something in there has historical significance.
Oh, it's a historical landmark.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Can't do anything to it. Can't demolish it at all. We need it in its. You actually need just to return it to its former glory. That's the only thing you can do with the property. Sorry.
By the way, a judge I love. I didn't get to read the whole story, so maybe he is a kook. But the headline alone made me say yes, that's great. Somebody tore down a historical landmark in San Francisco.
Okay.
And I think they tore it down in like I didn't mean to do this. Like,
Right.
But now that it's down, I might as well build on top of it, kind of thing. But the judge was like, no. And he forced in the judgment for the guy to make an exact replica of the building that he tore down.
Good. Good.
I'm like, that's funny. That's good. That's good judging right there.
And you need more of that. Less of the guy in Texas who overthrew Obamacare, more of the guy who makes you rebuild the historic monument. Yeah. That's what we need. Anyway, so we are coming. This is the last episode of 2018. If you followed along at the beginning of this episode or last week, we talked about first episode will be on Wednesday. Make sure you join us here at facebook.com/OTheAnthem for the
To be
recording.
released on podcatchers on Thursday.
To be released on Thursday. So, since it's the last episode of the year, I thought we could just do a little year in review and see how 2018 has been treating you. So, what do you think?
Well, I know it hasn't been treating me well because of the number of times where we sit down to do a podcast and I say to you, oh, God, we have to also talk about Cohen and Mueller because that happened this week. And then you'll look at me and be like, that fucking happened this week?
Yeah.
Like, that felt like it happened months ago. Like, and
It's been the quickest and the longest year.
I feel like if somebody actually put like the biggest events of 2018 in front of me, I would be shocked that many of these things are happening.
Yes.
Like, somebody would be able to slip in like Ricky Martin releases "Living La Vida Loca," and I'd be like, "That happened this year."
I feel like that's wrong.
Wait a minute, that doesn't seem right.
It
doesn't seem right. And then I look it up, and I'm just like, "That fucking it did happen this year. How the hell that happened?"
These things, I don't know. Time is just warped on us. I can't keep it straight.
Or stuck in a time loop somehow.
Yes. But what about personally, professionally, how's your 2018?
Well, I would say that 2018 is the year where I finally found my footing in LA, I guess. I think the first 6 months to a year that you live here, it's kind of tough to sort of know what to do or like where you should get, like, because like everyone's just sort of blindly released into the abyss that is Los Angeles.
Yes.
And it's like, figure it out.
The king never came and greeted us.
Exactly. So
That might be a live shot.
that, I don't know, it still looks like it's blue.
Sorry, so we were comparing whether or not the Rams are playing on Sunday Night Football, and
That looks
building.
weird. That building that I'm pointing at right now.
yes, which is the Wilshire Grand, changes its colors, and right now it's green and red.
Yeah, it's
but
like a Christmassy kind of
But that they've been showing shots of it being blue.
on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, which clearly means it was pre-recorded. But that last one looked a little green, so that might have been live. And Staples Center was all lit up like it would be for
an event of
the
some
event
kind.
that they're happening down there. So Disney on Ice or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. So back to your review. Go ahead.
No, but I think that this is the year where things finally started. Like I finally realized like what I was doing and how I needed to go forward and like what the paths are forward for me in different areas of my career. And it's just also when you first move to a place and you don't know like anybody, like there's that like, did I make a horrible mistake?
Yeah.
Like looking up at the ceiling, like maybe I shouldn't have done this kind of thing. But then as you go further and further along, like you lose yourself in those problems to an extent, and you like are able to sort of take things one at a time. And I genuinely think that the future is bright. Like it's like I'm at a position now where I think like things are only going to get bigger and better from here.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful feeling to have, like especially in a competitive and hard to figure out lifestyle, you know, like
Yes.
or a career idea.
Yeah. So 2019 or 2018, busy year. Got a lot done and nothing done, kind of in the same way. But a lot of changes. I will say, I don't know how you feel about this. I've written less this year than I've written in the previous 5 years.
I feel like I've written less this year than I did last year.
Yeah.
But I also think that what I've been doing more of is sort of planning the write a little bit more. So like I have 3 different features that I'm sort of like I'm in the early stages of.
Yeah.
And I'm still mulling how they're going to happen. And normally I would have just you gave me sort of the assignment of writing the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just getting it done and doing it as quickly as possible. And I didn't have a plan for how that thing was going to progress. Like when I first stepped into it.
Right.
And I realize, like, now that I look at a finished product of it, I'm like, this isn't exactly where I want it to be. So I have to go back and sort of like start new and deconstruct everything to figure out the path forward.
Okay.
More recently, I find myself spending a lot of time trying to figure out exactly what the story is and all of its elements and all of its bits before I even sit down and write.
Maturing as a writer. That's what they would call that. I write very immaturely, which is just sit down and write.
Whatever comes to your mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that there's times where I feel like I need to make my schedule a little bit more rigid too. But then at the same time, I feel like part of the goodness that comes out of the things, having a more inflexible schedule allows me to do things more like when I want them.
Yeah.
As opposed to forcing myself to, like, I know I would be better off if every single day at 1 o'clock was writing time.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, no matter what, I got to be home by 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Treat it like a job. Like if I'm not there on time, then I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Just sitting down at 1 and I'm writing from 1 to 5 or whatever. And, I think that there would be a part of me that would be beneficial if I forced myself to sit in the chair like that. But at the same time, like sometimes I wake up and I just want to write right away.
Yeah.
So taking that away from myself and saying like,
wait till 1.
Wait till 1.
Yeah.
1 o'clock's the writing time. This is the time where you should be doing everything else that you need to get done. Then I don't know. I like it, it's a catch-22 as to whether.
Because on the good days, you'll get writing done that you wouldn't have done otherwise.
Yeah.
But on the more impactful days, you miss out on the muse coming to you early in the day, and maybe it gets tougher to write later in the day.
Well, not only that, but I mean, like, I feel like I would end up just moving the goalposts on myself.
Yeah.
So, like, I would say, like, I'd want to write at 1 because I'd probably want to do it after lunch. But then, like, there's times where I write early in the day, and then something happens while I'm out and about, and I'm just like, oh, man, I should have wrote about that.
Yeah.
And then, like, I go home and I write more. So, I mean, like, I don't know. It just feels like it's such a finicky thing to, like, figure out how to schedule a job that doesn't require set guideline. You know, like, we don't my store doesn't open at 10 a.m.
No.
Like, there's no reason to get something done specifically on a day. And sometimes, like, I've woken up and felt like shit, and just like I don't have it. Like, I don't have the mental capacity to write right now.
Yeah.
And then you just end up like playing Madden all day or watching DVDs. And, normally you would feel like that's a waste. You would be like, I wasted a whole day doing this.
But
at the same time, I know me and know that if I'm like, if I'm stuffy and coughing and sick or something like that, I'm just not going to be writing as well as I would if I would have just let it sit,
Yeah.
And I would frustrate myself. So I might as well just say like, all right, this is a lost day and just work on convalescence,
And get a little you time, a little recuperation time.
Yeah.
So, which is always necessary.
And I think that's the other thing. I feel like I've also burned myself out. Like all those years at Nelson's where I was doing 60-hour weeks.
Yeah.
And like running around like in frantic mode most of the time, like trying to put out one fire after another. I think there's a part of my brain that just like burned out of like of forcing that on me.
Yeah.
Now
I don't have to on
like. So much of going to Nelson's and working there was like saying to myself, like, all right, it's going to be a fucking shit show today. And then as soon as things started like lining up like it was going to be a shit show, like I was in full like fight or flight mode of like having to take on every single issue. But if I didn't go in with the attitude that like today was going to be a fucking mind numbing piece of shit, then I would not have that same sort of. I wouldn't be as dedicated to knocking out things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that a part of me got burned out from doing that, and now I can't like force it on myself anymore.
But maybe that's a good thing.
Probably is a good thing.
So on that note, let's look forward to 2019.
Okay.
Well, let's start with that, with the writing. Do you have any resolutions when it comes to writing or content production in 2019?
Yes.
Okay, let's start there. What do you got?
I have decided,
and we will check back on these, much like we check back on your calls for the Orioles prediction.
Yeah.
How'd that go this year?
Very bad.
No, well, and Ravens prediction.
Refuse to make one.
Okay, so we're gonna look back on these in a year. Go ahead.
But I said the things that I felt like I needed to say in my Ravens prediction without specifically putting out a prediction.
And those are coming pretty true. So yeah.
I think that I've worked on so many sets in the last 2 years, and I've made a nice group of connections with people I really enjoy, and I think that now is the time where I can figure out how to make a low budget feature that could fit in with the people that I know and with the parameters that I can set forward based off of whatever kind of money I can put together to make it. And I just feel like this has to be the year where I have a feature out there.
Okay.
So that's the plan right now. I'm still toying with exactly what I would want it to be, but everything that I'm writing or everything that I'm planning on writing, I'm sort of going at it with the aspect of how would I be able to do this if it was only me being able to like put it together.
Right.
So, I wrote the Teddy Roosevelt TV show. That's obviously not an idea for me to make by myself.
Yeah.
And when you know that it's not going to be your dime that puts together the whole project, then you're just like, yeah, fucking make him go to Yankee Stadium. I don't give a shit.
Sure. Yeah.
Like CBS.
A rowboat on into Oyster Bay? Sure, why not? Let's do that.
CBS will take care of that, not me.
Yeah.
But when you're thinking about like how, like I got to think about keeping every single dollar down as much as possible. How would you write that story? And I think if this year feels like the year to do it. I wanted to do it before with like about that time and stuff like that. But in honest reflection, I think I paused on doing it because I didn't think it was quite ready, and I was probably right for not pushing it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just know whether or not it's right, and that never felt right. So therefore, I never went forward with it. But there's a certain degree of I got to do this now to it.
We got that.
Yeah.
But what about other? I mean, that's your big overarching goal. What about smaller goals? People have been watching the reviews. Do you have a goal on the reviews? 52 in 2019?
No, not specifically. I never, I would like to be able to do one a week, but I just know it's not realistic.
How about 35 in 52 weeks?
Is that you, or is that the outside world that was shaking like that?
I feel it now. It might have been an earthquake, or it could have been that truck. I don't know if you guys heard the truck drive by.
Yeah. I'm always waiting for the time where we have an earthquake, and I was secretly hoping that it happens while we're on the podcast.
Yeah.
Just so people could see it's like, ah!
I feel like the building would move more, but I'm not 100% that it would.
Yeah.
That might have been one.
Yeah. Maybe a little one.
Yeah.
A little tremor. Go on QuakeBot, see what's up.
Yeah. Well, see if we get a little alert from QuakeBot here. Anyway.
What was I just saying?
35 in 52 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty close to what I've done so far this year. Mm-hmm. I think I have like 30-something reviews done. So,
really?
Yeah.
See, I was going to try to make you set a goal that was higher. I thought it was like 25 or 27.
I could tell you real quick because I keep a running
tally
of all my movies so that I can quickly look at them for reference sake.
Yes.
So I did 32 this year.
32.
Though actually, I guess there were a couple of these that were end of last year too. So let's see. When would it have switched? We saw Phantom Thread in January, right? Because it came out at like Christmas.
What's that?
Came out at like Christmas.
Yeah,
right?
it came out Christmas Day, I think. So
I think I did 6 in 2017.
So
and
32.
I'm at 32 total right now. So
26.
Yeah. And this doesn't count 33, which would be Creed 2, and 34, which would be Roma.
Okay.
So I would had
But you're at 26 thus far.
27 for this year, I guess. So 35 is a good step up, I guess.
Add 2 months worth? 7
Yeah.
7 weeks. Okay, there you go. So goal to 35, and
I mean, it would be helpful if I can replace MoviePass with something just as great.
we're looking at Cinemia, right? Or
Cinemia.
Cinemia.
Or maybe AMC.
Ugh.
I know. I don't want to
AMC's
have to
just
go
so
to
far
just
away.
like Burbank just to take advantage of it, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Pacific Theaters, they should throw something together.
They have the I think Alamo Drafthouse was working on something.
Yeah,
So-
we don't have an Alamo Draft House though, so
Yeah, but not yet. One of these
this
days.
is like the fourth Christmas we've been saying. One of these days we're gonna have an Alamo Draft House near us. Right.
What about you? What about your plans for the year? Your resolutions?
I would like to write more. Obviously, I didn't write very much this year. I don't know. It's just been it's been an off year. Had a lot of distractions, and obviously, I took the job kind of running the company where I am now. So taking that general manager position meant that I kind of went to where you were in with Nelson's, where it's like I get in there at 8:30 in the morning, and then it's just like shit show building during the day, and then I stay there for 10 hours or 11 hours, and then when I get home, just like I don't really feel like writing at all.
Yeah.
So there's a level of that. I think I just would like to get something written. We've been kicking around an idea for YouTube content for like a year now, more than that.
Yeah.
So I'd probably like to get started on that too. I don't know. I think my goal really is just to get back to where I was the year before last on production, because my thing is always just like get it done and out, get ideas out. Also, I think.
Well, I mean,
haven't
like,
been
you know,
inspired, but-
it's weird. Your schedule now is pretty close to what I was at Nelson's when
Yeah.
I was like, so I was working all those hours pretty much 7 days a week, and then I was also writing, and then I also had a girlfriend all
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was tough to get all those things in at the same time.
Yeah.
And the writing would often be the first thing that would like dip off.
Last thing out.
But you know, it's I think honestly part of it though is that I was 27 at that point or 26. And it's so much easier for you to like just be like, fuck this, I don't need sleep.
Yeah,
I can just
I was gonna say,
I can go on 2 hours of sleep for weeks on end and like
We say that the writing's the first thing to go, but that's not true. The sleep is the first thing to go, because it's like I'll stay up and write for 2 hours and just sleep for 4 instead of 6.
Yeah.
Now I'm like 8. I need 8, 7 at minimum. I need to, and like last night I only got 6, so I need to take a nap when I get home from work today.
Right.
It's a whole situation. So, so as far as writing goes, I'd like to do more writing. I'd like to get back to the proficiency, and I think part of that is going to be something that I kind of got into a couple years ago. I guess a year ago now, right around a year ago, where we are now, which is not being so obsessed about the social media thing and keeping up with it so much. Like there is a level of going to have to do it for the podcast, and there's going to have to do it for work and like doing that kind of stuff. But so I'm like in this mindset where I'm looking at, do you remember with the whole thing where it was like, don't hide the ugly stuff and like life's more than the Kodak moments that I got into last year? I think I'm going to go back to that in 2019 and just be like, listen, nothing's always perfect. And I spent so much time grooming, like, oh, I can't post this, I can't post that, because, you know, whatever reason. Oh, fuck it, just post it and show it.
Yeah.
But another thing I'm going to do, which I'm debuting right now for all of you and nobody knows about, is 2019 is going to be my year without a selfie. I'm going to try my best to go all year and not take a selfie at all.
Now, question, is
Yes.
this just you not taking a selfie, or is this not being involved in selfies?
I would like to not be involved in selfies. Now, this may not be my choice, because there are people around us who love their selfies.
That probably ends mid-January.
Probably so. But again, I won't post it. So
Yeah.
someone else may force me or sneak a selfie in with me, but I won't post it. I've like kind of gotten to the mindset where I'm like, I want to do some big things. I want to go see some new things and beautiful things in 2019. And I want everyone to see what I see and not necessarily be obsessed with them seeing me be there.
Yeah.
I don't care so much about me being there. It's about you seeing what I see. So we're going to do that and see how long we can make it. Obviously, I would like to say no pictures at all, but we do a live podcast once a week. So I'm going to be on video for that.
Technically, does this count as your face?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, right? This is kind of a selfie. And well, obviously that when we are out with friends, there'll be group pictures and things, and I can't really stop anybody from posting those. But I'm going to try to make an effort not to have that selfie mentality. Take a picture of me doing this thing. I'm just going to show you the thing, or it's not worth it to do it. So we'll see how that works out. Like I said, might be mid-January and we're done, but guess we'll see. Anything else as far as New Year's resolutions go?
Not specifically. I mean, like, so I really like, just going back to the career thing for a second, I really like doing sound.
Yeah.
And I do want to continue doing sound. And actually watching Roma last night sort of helped out a lot, because I was starting to think about like how I would be able to like juggle the writing, directing side of what I do and the sound side of what I do. But Cuarón not only wrote and directed Roma, but he also shot it.
Right.
So, I mean, like, I feel like there would be a avenue if he wanted to. I mean, that's all up to him. But if he wanted to, he could probably get jobs being a DP.
Oh, yeah.
And not being a writer director on it. And, you know, I think that the sort of the next stage of the, like, because right now we're heavy in the world of the multi-hyphenates.
Yeah.
Where somebody's like a writer, director, actor, producer, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm also a music artist and a dancer.
Cooper.
And yeah.
He's a Bradley Cooper. That's what we call this.
But what I don't think people have like quite gotten is how we transfer that into making the hyphenates all valuable and all like, so Bradley Cooper does that really well because he's a great actor and a great director, and you know, like you can separate the things from him. Yeah. But like what's beneficial for him as like an actor is like he gets to work with, you know, Coppola, whoever,
right.
You know, Spielberg, pick your director, and you get to have the combination of the acting ability of Cooper and what he thinks and how he approaches his craft with the, you know, oversight of the director that he's working with.
Right.
And I think that there's something to be there. There's a view of that could happen with a crew where it's going to open up a brand new thing, not necessarily like in 2019, but over the course of the next couple of years, where the idea of having like, say, you know, Cuarón and Guillermo del Toro are close, right?
Sure, yeah.
So maybe del Toro says like, I have this picture that I want to do. I saw Roma. I thought you just shot it beautifully. What would it take for me to get you for 2 months to help me with this, to DP this? And then when somebody releases a movie where it's just like written and directed by Guillermo del Toro, shot by Alfonso Cuarón, like
how much do you want to see that movie?
By like,
as long as it's not Cuarón filling out the shot list, because we don't need 9 minutes of static shots.
I need 9 minutes of static shots. I need it.
Oh God.
You know, but I mean, like, I think that's going. There's going to be a next generation where that's the end game, and I would like to. If number one, nobody knows any sound person, like unless you're in sound, you don't know the name of any sound mixer anywhere. But I feel like I've often said like I feel like if somebody said like, did you know that Quentin Tarantino did the sound mixing on this? And you said, I didn't even know he knew how to do so.
Yeah.
And then you watch it, and then it raises the level of what you expect of that thing because you know the person who was involved.
Right. Yeah.
So to be able to put myself in the position where if this is where things are going and I can see this coming, then putting myself in the position not to only be the writer director that I want to be, but also the sound mixer that I want to be, and be able to find that place, you know?
I would like
because then it would add to the, you know, if we did the written and directed by Guillermo del Toro, shot by Alfonso Cuarón, sound by Corey Baker, like people would be like, oh, wow, those are three huge directors who are all working in different aspects of this creative format to create something special, you know?
I would like to see every movie end like the movie that runs inside of Roma, where after the above the line people are listed, the curtains just closed, and we have no idea who directed it, who was doing the sound, or who was first AD. Now, close the curtains, let it run, turn off the
I like projector. How Cuarón instead just did it up front.
Just put it all up front.
Just like, I'm going to do all the credits up front. Fuck you guys.
Well, then we know when we go to Cuarón, we're like, oh, we could be 35 minutes late for this movie because the first 10 minutes are just credits. So
you're not going to remember it, but you're sure as fuck going to see the production designer's name.
It was very interesting. Well, and okay, so other than that, I'm making the goal of trying to get back into shape.
Yeah.
We got to do that.
I liked your last night. You did the goal for 2019 being 219 pounds.
219 in 2019. Yeah.
And I think that's a good place to. It's not too ridiculous. It's not like me saying like I'm going to be 150 pounds this time. That's just absurd. And when you get too far back on that goal, then you just feel like it's like a fruitless exercise.
Yeah,
and
like
why
I
am
gotta
I
lose
even
12
trying?
pounds a week in order to get there.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think 219 is a good goal, and I think I'm gonna go with that one.
That's good. Yeah. I'm just realizing that
I'm also gonna try and get more serious about quitting smoking, just because I think it's about that time.
Sorry, what was that? What was that? That's breaking news. Sorry, what now?
Thinking about quitting smoking.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Well, I've been thinking about it for a while now. I just haven't like pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
But Rachel was asking me about it yesterday, and she said that she was going to try and cut down on the wine. So I guess we'll see how we each do on this.
Good Lord. All right.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
Lots of changes.
It's going to be a grouchy crowd around here. Good grief.
Man, the end of January, we're all going to fucking murder each other.
But I think the other part of it is, I don't know if I told you this. I got hit by a car.
Yeah. Oh,
last
really?
week. Yeah. Weird, strange thing about that.
When did this happen?
And it got me thinking, like, that could have gone much worse. And if it had gone much worse, my recovery time, like a broken bone there, my recovery time would be ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm looking at like a 6-month traction recovery kind of period to get back to walking and doing anything. So I feel like lucked out, missed the worst case scenario, and should take advantage of this by getting more healthy.
Yeah.
Because I still think in my head that I'm 22 years old.
Yeah.
I am not 22 years old. I'll be 35 in less than a month. And I just got to get in that mindset of a 35-year-old, which is better take care of this thing because it's only downhill from here. And I think at this point, still of the age where a lot of hard work and eating the right things and doing the right things can get me back in decent shape.
Yeah.
And my goal is to get below 200. If I can get back into the 100s, I'll be happy.
I think I sort of had a similar place with that. Just saying to myself, like, if I don't start losing weight soon, then it's going to be way harder for me to ever do it again.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
every year that passes becomes harder to do it, and I don't want to be, like 50 and just be 280 pounds
Well,
and
no,
be
and
like,
then-
well, I'm never going to get lower than that.
Not even that though. That's when the doctor's like, you have to do it, and it's nearly impossible.
Yeah.
So it's a struggle to do it. Then it's a little easier to do it now, while we still have some testosterone and the prostate's not trying to kill us.
Exactly.
So yeah. So I mean, I think that's a good goal. Just living healthier and getting in better shape, and not getting hit by a car. That's a goal for 2019. I always made it through 2018.
All right, check that one off the bucket list. You know,
I will say though that last
it'd
year,
be so funny if we look back on the 2018 or the 2017 year in review, and
Yeah.
it's just like, I mean, my number one goal for 2018 is not getting hit by a car.
failed that. Whoops.
Right in
All
December, right at the end.
Almost made it. Shit, what was I about to say? I will say that last year, one of the things I wasn't public about, but was interested in doing, was quitting smoking, and made it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really like public or in your face about it, but I had my last cigarette on June 1st, and have not bought another pack since then. So, yeah, 6 months cigarette free.
Yeah.
How about that?
I think I can do it. I just need to like.
The patches are everything.
Yeah. I've been mulling in the last couple weeks of like the like. Sometimes I'll be out there and I'm just like, I don't want to. I want the cigarette, but at the same time, I don't want it.
Ugh.
You know?
Yeah, and that's when you reach that point. That's the time. That's the time to do it. Also, it's cold, so it's a good time to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
still
LA,
probably,
it's cold.
I'm still probably going to suffer in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it doesn't make sense to quit before Christmas or anything.
oh no, too much stress, too much nonsense.
I need to just wait until I'm home and just like start fresh with the new year.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like the idea of starting fresh on the new year either, because it puts like these unnecessary expectations on the entire year if you fail.
See, I don't think about it as the new year though. I think of it as life has settled down and we are back in the normal stride of things. Like Halloween to now is just hectic nonsense the whole time.
Right. And if you wanted to like do a diet, like now would be the worst time because there's so many different things that get thrown in your way. Like, you know, and people will just give you candy.
Yeah.
Like
people just give you candy.
Yeah. So I need to, you just need to like pass through this part and then get into like a good place where it's easy to work yourself up to.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm getting into shape. Like,
so I don't think of it as first of the year. I just think of it as once I'm back and settled.
Yeah.
I need to take it seriously and start calling it at work. And doing kind of what you do is just say, I need to take a day when I need a day, and I need to leave when it's time to leave at 4:30. I need to just go and have a little me time and have some energy for the gym and do the whole thing. So,
right.
So I guess we'll see. I don't like really doing resolutions because I feel like the resolutions put undue pressure in too. That's why mine are very vague. Getting in better shape is just about feeling better.
Yeah, I mean, if you lose 1 pound between now and next year, you won.
I mean, ideally, I'd like to get to 200, but in the end, also I know that, hey, if I become a champion bodybuilder, I'll probably be around the same weight. It'll just all be muscle, so I'll be like ripped, right? So it's not about the number; it's just about feeling better. So I'm going to make a goal to get Corey a haircut before the end of 2019.
I've told Rachel if I'm cutting my hair before Christmas 2018, then I'm not cutting it at all in 2019. I'm just putting my foot down.
All right, so maybe
because here's the thing. I've come to this place. When I get my hair cut, everyone is happy except for me.
Yeah.
And when I have my hair long, the only person that is happy is me. So it's, what do I care more about? Do I care about my own personal happiness or do I care about the happiness of others? And clearly, I care more about the happiness of others over my own. But this feels like the one hill I can die on where it's just like...
No, it's not the hill to die on. It's not the hill to die on.
I'm just saying, like, you know, like, I don't... I'm not trying to make comparisons to anything else here, but like, you know, we've had conversations about like, you know, like, oh, if a girl wants to go to a club wearing like a bikini, then she should be allowed to, because there's no rules about what you can and cannot wear, and however you feel comfortable and whatever you like. And if you like to dress like that, then go for it and just enjoy your life. And you shouldn't expect anything wrong to happen to you because you made these decisions.
True.
But at the same time, I say to myself, like, I like my hair long, and everyone's like, go fuck yourself, cut it.
Well, no, because here's the thing. I think that women should be free to wear whatever they want to that said club. But in the end, you and I and everyone else may have something that they think about that. You're free to wear your hair in any state that you want.
Right.
However, I look at that and I say, why is that 15-year-old boy so large? It makes me think that perhaps with the baby face and, you know, all of the hair that you're just 15.
Ooh.
And Caps.
Wednesday night hockey.
Let's not get excited about Caps.
Pens, Caps.
Let's not get excited about it. God, we'll just try to get out of 2019 without talking about hockey. Anyway, so
your new goal, no hockey in 2018.
No hockey in 2019.
League's canceled.
So if you guys have resolutions, you can certainly let us know. Obviously, our next episode will be just after the new year, so that'll be the time to set those resolutions for sure. And I'd love to talk about what you guys are setting as resolutions. My resolution is to have Corey's ADD brought under control so he doesn't watch TV during the podcast.
Can't help it if there's a big game going on.
That way you have some fantasy points involved in that consolation bracket. All right.
Well, listen, it's beating Rachel. It's important to me that I beat Rachel.
Anyway, so if you do have your New Year's resolutions,
God forbid my masculinity get nicked even a little bit.
I mean, a little bit more. Or anyway, so you can text those resolutions to 443-219-7595.
What's the number again?
443-219-7595. Or you can send them to Corey@otheanthem.com. Or, of course, you can just send a message on Instagram or Twitter at @otheanthem.
Yes.
And just let us know what your resolutions are for 2019.
Well, we did this a little backwards, but I should say, if you're looking for a place to find more holiday cheer, you know where you can go? OTheAnthem.com. Corey@OTheAnthem.com with Facebook, Twitter. Blah, 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 blah. 443-219-7595.
What's that number
again? 443-219-7595. And if you want to find more of me,
you went too fast. All right, go ahead.
I can't keep up. If you want to find more of me, you can do it at my website, CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com. You have probably been enjoying the latest review for Roma, which came out this past Thursday. if you want to see more of the reviews, keep an eye out because I'm trying to see things while I'm home. So there might be an unusual review that gets knocked in with the rest.
Ooh.
Because I'll go to the Parkway and they'll be showing something that nobody's ever heard of. So
Yeah.
Enjoy that. And
and of course, new reviews of theaters too, right? Like you have some stuff about the theaters as well.
indeed.
So,
Always touch on the theaters.
yeah.
And find more of me at Legend CB5, Twitter, Instagram, Corey Baker Film on Twitter. Or on Facebook. Sorry.
Stumble into the finish line. Of course, you can find more of me at Robert N. Cheek on all your social networks. You can check out robertncheek.com where you can find links to political blog, the news website, and the books which are available on Amazon.
Buy Rob's books.
Thank you, sir.
Did we have a book or?
So working on that. When I say goal is to write more, that's also about not leaving it till December to finish the novel. I literally have one that's done. Corey has done his edits on it. I have a good version.
I got him on you right away too.
Yes, and I made the
knew
changes.
You were on a deadline, so
I made the changes, and I was I had 3 days there where I was like, got it. And then I had a long day where I was super tired, and then I got hit by a car. So that's kind of
threw
taken
it all
away.
out of.
Yeah. So this week, I mean, the great thing about Amazon is I can put the publishing date as whenever. So if I get it up before the 31st, which is the goal, to get it up on Amazon before the 31st, I can just set the date at today, the 16th, as the date that it was published.
So stay tuned, everybody, because by the time we have our next podcast, we might be talking about a book.
Hopefully a new book. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm going to be spending a lot of time with Maxon on my lap, and maybe that's a good thing to edit or write or not see the Bumblebee movie with Haley Steinfeld. Anything. Good.
Well, it's got a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it speaks clearly for.
We'll see.
That's a Fast and the Furious rule if I've ever heard one.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Anywho, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. But as always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, sincerely, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Happy holidays to anyone who doesn't fit into the description above.
Oh, yeah. I got to get better about saying happy holidays because I have a very diverse office and I have to stop myself because we are having a holiday party.
Yeah.
Not a Christmas party. And the most vocal reactions have come from the Christians, but the don't call it a holiday. It's a holiday party. And I'm like,
I find that most people, like, no Jewish friend I ever had was just like, oh, how dare you say Merry Christmas to me?
Yeah.
Like, it only seems to be Christians who get offended by this. But
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll figure out some new way of doing it in 2019.
Yeah. Get rid of all the Christians. That'd be great. Sorry, what was that?
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
We're just like the Romans. It's a new empire. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll see you in 2019.
Toodaloo.